The Human Impact exists as a long-term support system for long-term or chronically homeless people. We exist to befriend the homeless, and we want to bridge the relational gap between people who are homeless and people who are not to change lives. When working with the long-term or chronically homeless, there are many paths that people take to leave the streets and stay off of the streets, and we have many partners. One of them is a company called Perry Guest Company. They're a real estate development firm, and our partner there, Neal, not only employs people like a man named Robert, who you're about to meet, but also houses them.
My name's Robert Thomas. I came to Dallas because I had just gotten a divorce. It was a little messy. So I cleaned up. So my sister called me and asked me if I'd like to come down and see what Dallas was all about. So I came down and I kind of got to liking it so good I didn't go back. So I've had, different jobs around, nothing, really stable or nothing, Then I was just out on Bowson Street Shelter and I happened to meet Elizabeth, and we got to be friends, and she introduced me to Neal, which was great because I appreciate him because he gave me the opportunity, trust, everything to go ahead, and to pick myself up.
Part of our mission at the Human Impact is bridging two communities that don't often come together. So we bridge the divide between socioeconomic, race, gender, and we do that because we believe that we're better together. And what that actually looks like is that our homeless friends, when the system fails, they're able to get jobs and connect to housing and get counseling and get into addiction recovery, and we support them through that process. But the beautiful thing is that we are changed too, because we don't only have something to give, but from them we also receive, and our lives are better for it.
Before the Human Impact, I had run into a number of groups that had attempted to address just the problem of homelessness, and they were making noble efforts. They were doing the Lord's work. They were trying to provide shelter and food and medical care and whatnot. You do want the person to have food and shelter and medical care, but really you just don't want them to be homeless. You want them to be a whole person again, where they're using their gifts, they're getting up and they're working every day, and they're providing for themselves. What the Human Impact does is they enter into the lives of other people and their suffering, and they help restore that person to who they can be.
Yes, jobs help me become, like I say, whole, because you can't very well be whole as if you're sitting somewhere halfway, You gotta have something, you gotta have the other half in order to be whole. And that's why I appreciate Neal for, giving me the opportunity and the trust.
Some people think that we're taking a risk on hiring somebody that was homeless, but I just don't really see it that way. I think every hire is a potential risk. Everybody has issues, and just because the person lost their house or their apartment and didn't have shelter for a while, it doesn't change who they are.
What we have seen over the last 6+ years is that when our community circles around one homeless person, their lives change. And what that looks like is getting medical treatment, getting into counseling, going to and getting into addiction recovery, and so many more things. For each individual person, we bring whatever they need to the table, and our community helps. We're trying to make it easy for people to do good and give back wherever they're called. Whether they're staying home raising children or working in business or working in the medical field, as many individuals as are experiencing homelessness and have needs, there are ways to get connected and give back to these individual people, and we want to make it easy for people to do that. This is the art of community. We'd love for you to join us.